Are you struggling to fit in homeschooling in your busy schedule? Well, in our family, I homeschool both my kids, and it only takes me about 2 hours or so a day. So, in this video, I want to share a quick day in the life behind the scenes of how we do that. And I want to share 3 tips for how you can also homeschool your kids in a very short period of time. This video is part of the Back to Homeschool Week collaboration with Ashley over at A Dash of Home. If you have not checked out Ashley's channel yet, you definitely should. I'm going to put a link to it in the description of this video. I'm also going to include a link to the collaboration playlist so you can see a behind the scenes day in the life of everybody else's homeschooled as well as soon as you finish this video. My name is Sarah. I'm a homeschool mom to 2 kiddos. My kids are 6 and 4, and right now homeschool takes us about 2 hours a day. So I want to share a little bit about why that's possible and how we do it. So first of all, I think that a lot of families are really surprised that homeschooling does not take as long as public school. But as a former public school teacher, I can tell you that there is a reason for that. And it's because there is a lot of time that is wasted in public school. Kids spend time lining up to go from class to class. They have class parties, they do fire drills, they have lunch, they go out for recess, and they count all of those things as a part of their school day. As homeschool parents, we probably wouldn't count any of those things as part of our homeschool time. And so we aren't really comparing apples to apples when we compare ourselves with the kids that get on the school bus at 8 and don't get off the school bus until 3. It's also important to note that at the public schools, they have to teach to sort of a general level of where they think most of their kids are at. But when we're homeschooling, we can target our teaching to exactly what our kids need to learn and exactly where they're at. So our kids aren't spending time confused and zoned out because they just don't understand. And they also aren't spending time waiting for other kids to learn something that they already know. So that also helps make us more efficient. So with all of that said, how do we homeschool in just a few hours a day? And especially with multiple kids that are different ages. So the first thing that we do in our homeschool that makes it easier is that we combine for many of the subjects. So my kids are almost 3 years apart, but there are still several subjects that I can teach to both of them at the same time. My family combines for Bible study, for science, for history, and also for a read aloud. We do all of those subjects together every day. And I teach the same thing to my 6, almost 7-year-old that I do to my 4-year-old. When I'm teaching these subjects, I often will read out loud to both kids at the same time. And then when we're done reading, I'll ask my son, who's the older child, some specific follow-up questions. I know that my daughter is going to get a lot out of just being there and hearing the material, but I'm not expecting her to remember as much of it as I am expecting her older brother to remember. The second thing that we do that works really well is that I read out loud to my kids during breakfast. We love to read all of the read alouds from everything that needs to be read aloud for the entire homeschool day together as a family while my kids are eating. This works great because my kids have something else to do while they're listening, and it helps them to be able to stay focused, and it also helps them to be able to stay together and quiet while we're listening. During breakfast time, we usually do our Bible study, our history, and our science reading, and I also read to my kids from the Read Aloud book. Third, I think it's really important to include a balance in your day of both subjects that your kids can do independently and subjects that they might need a little bit of help on. This can be especially challenging when kids are young because most of the subjects are going to require help. But it's important to be able to teach our kids from a very young age how to learn independently. So with my 6-year-old, we have several curriculum options that are video-based or that are based on books because he's now an independent reader. And so he's able to read the books or watch the videos by himself and to be able to continue learning while I work with my daughter. My daughter also does an amount of video-based curriculum so that she has something to work on while I am teaching my son. And then the final thing that we do that has really helped tied to that is to really focus on reading when our kids are young. So my first goal for my kids is to help them learn to love books and to become independent, confident readers. Because I know that once they can do that, they'll be able to learn and read on their own. And this is so important for them in becoming independent learners. So I have created a reading curriculum that I've used for my kids that has worked really well for us. It's based on over a decade of classroom experience, the science of reading, and it's designed to really make reading fun and to help kids fall in love with books. So if you want to know more about that, I'm going to put a link in the description of this video to where you can learn more about the curriculum and grab a sample for yourself. So with all of those things, we are able to homeschool in just 2 hours a day, which frees up my kids to have lots of free time every day to play and explore and just be kids. And I love that. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you. If you enjoyed the video, please click subscribe so that you'll get notified whenever a new video is released. I'm also going to include links in the description of this video to the other videos from Back to Homeschool Week so that you can see more inside of our homeschool, the curriculum that we chose, some of our favorite school supplies, and how we're getting ready for the upcoming school year.